All right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for playing. So last year I was given the assignment for Guns America to review the the brand new at that time SIG Sauer P320 X5 Legion. That's a mouthful, right? So I was really curious about what was going to be different with the Legion besides just painting it gray, which they did, but boy, there is a lot different. I've since picked up a few extra magazines, so I think I now have about 6. Got the SIG Romeo optic sitting up on top. It really is the full package, and finishing it off beautifully is the rubberized Talon grip. And that did really make a difference for me. For those of you who want to know, does it really help? Yes, it really, really helps. All right, well, let's warm this thing up a little bit. Maybe warm me up a little bit too. Well, apparently I need some warming up. All right, let me slow down a little bit and see where I'm hitting. Because I did have this sight zeroed in. This is a triple tap all day long trigger on this one. There are a number of things about this gun that are pretty special, and I think, for me, I think it really starts with the weight. The tungsten infused polymer frame is really an incredible innovation. Other things, of course, that distinguish this gun from the regular P320 X5 is that this is a Legion, so it comes with all the Legion things, and most noticeably, of course, is the color. This has that PVD finish, that Legion gray finish. It's very impressive to me what a great job they did blending the color of the slide and the color of the polymer frame. I turn this thing on all kinds of different angles in a lot of different light, and I have a really hard time seeing any difference in that color, and that's pretty incredible, because even in the Legions that are alloy frame and stainless steel slide, I can see the difference because of the substrate. One difference between the standard X5 and the X5 Legion is the barrel finish. The X5, the normal X5, has just basically a sort of exposed stainless steel barrel, and this one has the, I believe, nitron coated. I don't see that information specified anywhere, but that looks like the traditional SIG Sauer nitron coating, which is one of the best in the industry. Very, very tough. So there's that distinction, and that makes it kind of look good against the gray. One of the other big differences is the magazines. The magazines are different in that these are actually slightly lower capacity, and they have this aluminum base plate which takes them all the way inside that magazine well. They don't stick out like the extended magazines do that have the big polymer extension on the bottom. Main reason for that is it's easy to make this gun IDPA legal, and you don't even have to take off the mag well. The mag well is legal as long as you can stay in the height range that you need to. You can take the weight out of the back strap, and you can use these magazines. One of the other key differences for me that I noticed kind of right off the bat was the trigger. It's a very similar looking trigger. This one is skeletonized more than the one that is on the regular X5, but I also noticed that it's tuned a little bit differently. This one is a lighter and crisper trigger. Very, very sweet, very short break, very wonderful tactile reset. Let me do a quick demo for you. Okay, so there's our straight trigger, and it's leaning forward like that because it's designed to be straight 90 degrees at the break point. So take up just a tiny bit, just a hair of take up right there, and you are at the wall. Beautiful break, and that puts you at the 90 degrees. Reset. Short, tactile, and you're right back at the wall. There is no more take up that you have to do or anything like that. I may be charged with heresy for what I'm about to say, but I'm not convinced that I shoot better with a red dot all the time than I do with just open sights. No matter what kind of handgun we're talking about. In this case, the exquisite P320 X5 Legion. There are obvious advantages to having a red dot optic on your gun, and there are some disadvantages to having a red dot optic on your gun, and not the least of which is learning curve. And I still feel like, in many ways, I'm still in my learning curve when it comes to red dot optics. So I don't know. The jury is still out, but I do not always shoot, especially when I'm shooting faster. So the faster I'm shooting, the less effective that red dot optic is for me. In fact, it actually feels to me like it becomes a detriment because I've got that red dot bouncing around with the recoil of the gun that my mind, my brain seems to have a harder time dealing with that than just the traditional iron sights going up and down, because I've shot that way all my life. I know what to expect. I can be pulling the trigger as that front sight's dropping back down into the notch, and I know what's going on. With a red dot, I feel like I lose it. I feel like I'm never sure exactly where that dot is when I'm breaking the shot. I say all this to say, to basically invite comments. I'm real curious for those of you who are shooting with red dots, whether you're new to it or you're extremely good at it and been doing it a long time. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on that, because like I say, I'm still trying to figure out and learn for myself where this tool makes the best sense and where it helps me and where it may not be helping me. All that said, 15 yards downrange, I've got an orange dot that's 3 inches in diameter. So I'm going to try and put 10 rounds in that orange dot from 15 yards away. I'm shooting SIG Sauer V-Crown 124 grain. That ammo is provided to the channel by SIG Sauer Elite Performance, and I appreciate it immensely. All right, here's another thing that makes it a little tricky for me. As many have noticed over the years, I am right-handed and left-eye dominant. I wear contact lenses, and while both my eyes are technically the same prescription, I do what's called monovision as I get older. And so I've got my left eye dialed in at the front sight. But when you're shooting a red dot, you need your far distance. So I have to squint with the opposite eye. So when I shoot both eyes open, I think that really is a problem. Unless I reverse my contact lenses, which I have done on occasion. All right, so there was 10 rounds. I think they all made it into the orange. So slow fire, not too bad. If I'm squinting with my non-dominant eye so that I've got good clear distant vision where the dot is, all those things, but that makes it tricky for me when I just pull the gun up and try and do some rapid fire, both eyes open, which is my preferred method of shooting. Even though I do carry the SIG Sauer Elite Performance 124 grain jacketed hollow point V crown ammo, that's a mouthful. That is my preferred carry load. However, that's not generally the kind of stuff I'm shooting through this gun, because this is mostly a match gun. This is what I usually shoot if I'm shooting a Steel Challenge match or an IDPA match or something similar to that. This is my hand load. Most of you, if you shoot competitions, you also hand load, so I'm sure you understand. So I also like to do some accuracy testing now and then with this stuff to make sure that it's shooting as good a group as I expect it to. Let's see how I can do with that at 15 yards. All right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for playing. All right. Well, I know at least one got away from me, but that's not a bad group. Hey, while I'm at it, I want to take a moment to thank the good folks at Tactile AR 500 Targets for providing the awesome steel target that you saw me using today. I appreciate their support, and I know they would appreciate your support. You'll find information below. This is a really great time to be a gun enthusiast. Handguns, rifles, shotguns, everything. There is just so much good innovation taking place, in the past decade or so, and every reason to believe that that's going to continue. So much in the same way that the automotive industry benefits from auto sports, the handgun industry and the firearms industry in general benefits from firearms sports. That's where innovation can really be tested and proven. Aside from the obvious military applications, the sporting world is really where all these great new ideas get vetted out. And this is an absolute perfect example of a product that has come along now as a result of just the sheer desire to be the best out there in the field. And SIG Sauer is definitely, if nothing else, they are driven to be the best. And this handgun, this P320 X5 Legion, is one of the very best competition handguns you could possibly choose. Like I say, the biggest difference, other than the cosmetics, the biggest difference to me between this particular version of the P320 X5 and the regular version of the P320 X5 is this amazing trigger. Right out of the box. It is just fantastic. One of these days I probably should do a head-to-head with lots of different competition guns, because there are a bunch of them out there and I've got a bunch of them to choose from. I may do that very soon. And maybe one of the negatives about this gun is its limited compatibility with an optic. So when I first got it to do my review for Guns America, I did not have this optic. This is the SIG Sauer Romeo 1T, which I have bought since I did the initial review, and it is a really nice choice for this gun. It's probably the one that's always going to be on there. But when I did my initial review, I used a Leupold Delta Point Pro, which is also compatible, and that is the military assigned optic of choice, so that makes sense. But you can't just buy any optic and throw it on here. There's not that much compatibility, at least at this point in time, until maybe some adapter plates are made. So that's probably, one negative, because you are limited in your options for an optic. But I will tell you, this is a very sweet choice, as is the Delta Point Pro. So kind of whatever your preference is, I like this one a little bit better, I think, at least on this gun. And you can probably see, there you go, see the dot. Because this does have that shake awake function. And it's got that nice steel hood over it to protect the housing. So if you beat it up and all that. What I like, one of the things I like about the steel housing around the Romeo 1T is that I don't have any hesitation in grabbing it, racking the slide with it. Might as well use it as a big old handle since it's sticking up there. But this gun I am seeing every time I go to a match, and of course, we haven't had matches in a while, but back when we were having them, boy, this thing was everywhere. It was like every third person had one of these guns on their hip. So if you want to see and hear more about this gun, like I said, I did do a very detailed and thorough review for Guns America. I don't need to repeat all that here. I'll put a link and you can go check that out. There's a full written review with lots of pretty pictures and a full video review as well. Covers all the specs, all the details, and a lot of testing. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks very much to the companies that help support the channel with targets or ammo. Thanks especially to my Patreon patron supporters. See you again soon.